Hey guys, for this video, I'm going to show you how I built my DCR01 ME chassis Snow Wolf. Let's go! Alright, so the start of the kit, this is the DCR01 ME chassis kit. And then for the wheel character, I got it from one of the animal racers. Okay. Now let's first talk about the front section. Let me remove the cowl first so we can see this part. Okay. Now this FRP, this is what they call the FRP wide rear plate for air chassis. Now you need two pieces of this one so that it will be sturdy and strong enough. Okay. Now for the positioning, you have to place it in this area. Okay, so you have to push the FRP all the way back here. Okay, now the reason why you have to adjust the placement of the FRP is because you need to get the natural down thrust of it. As you can see, I didn't use any washer or anything to make to achieve this down thrust of this chassis. Okay, so that's the purpose why we have to position this FRP all the way back here. Okay, see inside there. Okay, so the down thrust of this one is good enough for me. Okay, now next let's talk about the countersunk screw that I used here. This is a 30mm countersunk screw together with matched with the adjustable silver dampers. Okay, so let's see what's under it. Okay, so let me zoom it in for you for a while. Okay, so we have a big washer and then a regular nut, and then that's it. Okay, and then lock it with a lock nut. Okay, now for the this one for the front rollers, I used the double aluminum rollers 1312 or DAR, and then I used a spacer, aluminum spacer, and high mount stabilizer. Okay, now the arrangement or the placement of this one. By the way, I used a cap screw. This is a 25mm cap screw. So here, cap screw, and then we have a small washer here. Okay, and after that, place your DAR, and then next, wait, let me zoom it in for you. Okay, focus. Okay, there. Okay, so after you place the DAR, no need to put another washer. You just have to lock it with a regular nut. Okay, and then a spacer. I believe this is a 3mm spacer, and then the black high mount stabilizer. Okay, and then what's next? Here, I secured the FRP with a 5mm regular screw, and then lock it with a regular nut. Okay, so I need to do that so I can secure that the FRP won't move and can give you like enough tightness so it won't fall off the chassis. Okay, even though you already have a lock nut here, I just want to make sure that it won't move or it won't budge. Okay, and what else? This one, many of you will ask me, why do I have to put a regular 5mm screw on this screw hole chassis? Now the reason for this is that if ever that your car crashed and then it hits the wall, okay, now the screw will prevent no, not prevent, but lessen the impact or the chance that this area will crack. Okay, so that's the reason why I put a 5mm screw here. Okay, and then next, let's talk about the front brakes. Now, this is the FRP rear brake plate. Okay, and then I'm using a white sponge, a 2 mm. All right, so let's move on to the side section. Now, this is what they call the side mass damper set for MA chassis. Now, this pack includes the FRP and then the block damper. This is one of the I think this is the heaviest damper that we have. This it is designed for the MA, especially for this FRP. Okay, and then countersunk screw. I used a 25 mm and then lock it with a lock nut. Okay, now under these are the size that I used here is it's the shortest one, the 6 mm countersunk screw. So 1, 2, 3, and then here I just use a regular nut to lock it. Okay, and then moving on to the rear section. Now for this FRP, this is the FC, or what they call it, the wide front plate for fully cowled mini four-wheel drive. Okay, or the FC. Okay, just one piece of FRP of FC, and then for the rollers, this is the 13 mm aluminum ball race rollers, the ringless. Okay, and cap screw. This is a 30 mm cap screw, and this is how I install it. So cap screw, and then the rollers, and then I use the longest aluminum spacer. I think this is the 12 mm. Yeah, and then after that I installed a big washer. Okay, and then on top here I use I use two pieces of big washer, and then a regular nut, and then two pieces of 3 mm spacer. Let me zoom it in so you can see it. Oh, there you go. So again, two pieces of washer, lock nut, 3 mm, and then another 3 mm, and then last will be 1.5 mm, and then your rollers, and then lock it with a lock nut. Okay, now the FC, I mounted it on the last this one, the last hole at the rear section of the chassis. Okay, not this one. Okay, the other the next one. Okay, and then screw. This is a countersunk screw. I believe this is the 8 or 10 mm, and then it's up to you which one do you like, as long as there will be a screw that will appear here on top, so you can enough for you to lock it with a lock nut or a regular nut. But for my style, I use a washer, one piece washer, and then regular nut, and then a ball cap. Okay, and then what else? Let's talk about the brake plate. Okay, now this is the rear FRP brake plate. Okay, and then I used a pink sponge for the rear section. And then we have this, the anti-sabit, or what they call the FRP plate for Super X chassis. Alright, so let's talk about the screws, the countersunk screws that I use for the rear section. Let's start with this one here. I'll show you one trick that I used. Let me zoom it in for you. Okay, as you can see, this one, there you go. I put a 1.5 millimeter this one, there spacer. Okay, so here's the side view of it. So I put a 1.5 spacer before I screw the FRP plate. Now the reason for that is because I want my FRP plate to have an angle there. As you can see, it's pointing upwards. Now the reason is so I can maximize the braking power when it goes up on a slope or on a jump. Okay, so the screw that I use here is the shortest one. It's the 6 millimeter. Okay, so next let's talk about this one. Okay, the screw for the Super X chassis, or sorry, the anti-sabot, yeah, Super X chassis FRP. Okay, there. Okay, so again, I use the shortest one, 6 millimeter. So before I lock it with a lock nut, I'm not sure if you can see it. There's a big washer here. So big washer and then a lock nut. Okay, and then lastly this one. Okay, so for this screw, here you go. Here for this one, yeah, for this area. Okay, so again, 6 millimeter screw, but before that I placed a washer. How many? One piece washer. Okay, now for the dampers, this is the adjustable silver dampers, and then for the screw I used a 25 millimeter screw and then lock it with a lock nut. So let's see what's under. So I used a small washer and then lock it with just a regular nut. Okay. For the rims, this is a medium size wire spoke rims, and then for the tires, the rear part, this is a super hard. Okay, and then for the front, this is a low friction. For the gears, I can open this. Okay. By the way, guys, I'm using a regular terminal. This is not a gold terminal, just a regular one. Now for the bearing, as you can see, there's zoom in for it. Oh, okay, there you go. There you go. Here. Now this is what you call the Mini 4-wheel drive Pro Gear bearing set for ME chassis. Now it comes with the shaft and the bearing that will fit for your gear. So regardless if it's a 3.7 or 3.5 or 4.1, it will all fit on those gears. Okay. What else? Here. The wheel bearing. Okay. For sure you cannot see it, but the bearing that I use for this one is the mini round hold ball bearing set. Okay. Now there's also one dilemma that I encountered when I used the wire spoke rims. After I installed the rims, it hits the edge of the chassis. Okay. Now what you will do is you have to use the bearing roller spacer. For each pack, it consists of 20 pieces. That's the one that you use for this one, for the rollers. So just put each rims. Okay. So after you install it, you can just adjust it for a bit, and then yep, you can use it. You can use your wire spoke perfectly, right? What else? For the motor, I always use a Mac dash motor. Okay, and then battery, Fujitsu white battery. Okay. All right, so that's it for our video. I hope you learned something from it. You can copy my setup if you want, and then also I'll be including a test run videos and some of the races there. As always, take care, have fun, and keep on racing. See ya. Go. We are inviting you to visit the Attic Yarn and Hobby Studio in Marikina City and experience a wonderful time building and playing with your Tamiya car. We have daily fun race, time attack, and multi-tournament. Track layout changes every month to make things challenging. I hope you learned something from this video. Stay safe and have fun racing.